What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Run It Up episode 202. That's right, the second episode of the second season. If you guys haven't seen the first episode yet, well, that's the one I really recommend watching first, because this is a continuation of that first session. We're starting off today's session a few hands after the end of last session. So if you haven't seen that yet, you should go check that out. At this point, I'm going to assume you've caught up or don't care about spoilers. So I'm in for this table for $80, so I'm currently up $22.77. Ballin'. Our opponents at this table are mostly unknown to us. I don't think I've played with any of them before except this session. I don't think so. Maybe I've played with this guy, D. Joseph. But anyway, I don't know anything about any of them, even if I have. So in today's history, I think we've seen... we had our biggest pot was one with aces against King Queen from Texas Colonel. He 3-bet me with King Queen offsuit, called a 4-bet, flopped the top pair, got it in with me, didn't win. Anything else notable here? He seems like relatively normal, and I really don't think that there's been too much that's like super crazy as far as notes go. We've only been playing for 30 minutes, and a lot of these players are pretty new. We'll have to keep an eye on them as the session goes on. You guys that have been around for a long time know that I'm very big on developing strategies based on the opponents at your table, deriving, what do they do? What are our opponents doing that we can maximally exploit? Because poker isn't a game where there's always a best decision, right? There always is a best decision, but it's not always the same, right? We have to kind of adapt and format our strategies so that they ultimately, interact with and are optimized for the players around us. If we have players who fold too much pre-flop and we're playing a tournament, for example, and there are antes, we want to put a very pre-flop heavy strategy together. Or more specifically, maybe there are a couple players who are pretty tight looking to survive, so we put together an aggressive strategy against that would be more aggressive than we would usually play, etc., etc. So we'll talk more and more about that. I know a lot of you guys want to hear those kinds of things, or you want to improve your own game so you can run it up as well. That's something I'm also going to be encouraging you guys for this season. A lot of you guys kind of on your own did your own run it up challenges alongside me in season 1. I encourage you to again do it in season 2. I myself started out as a poker player with $5 and a dream and managed to spin up my $5 in the course of a year and change to $100,000, which is not quite as easy to do these days as it was back in 2004, 2005. So maybe you should set your goals a little lower than that, but I highly encourage you to do it. Put together a forum post on the runup.com forums. Talk about, where you're at, what your goals are. You're going to start with $5, $10, $0, grind from the free rolls like a real pro, like I did. Whatever you want to do, put together a plan, post on the forums, keep us updated, tell me on my Facebook page, I think that's awesome. Use the hashtag run it up yourself. It's the run it up dream. Start with less, end with more. Hopefully you can join me on that if you like. So highly encourage that. And of course, if you live in New Jersey or Nevada, might as well play an ultimate poker, right? That's right. I'm a whore. Uncle Lorenzo, he likes when I say things like that. I just gotta. It happens. King 7 offsuit here in the small blind. My plan, if this guy folds, is just a call. I still have a pretty heavy call-heavy strategy in the blind. Not that I've been playing a ton of cash hold'em recently, but actually, I guess I played 25-50 prior to the summer a couple times, and then, but not a lot during the summer, I guess. It's going to just fold here. Don't think we can show profit calling 150 to win 250 out of position with a hand like that. Kind of garbagey. If he had raised a little bit smaller, I'd be highly inclined to raise. Sorry, I was very angry. I'd be highly inclined to raise, or call rather. But I think as is, it's fine. I like raising this to 150. It's going to be a spot where we're going to get one customer very often. Getting heads up to a flop with one customer is totally fine with me. We're going to win even on boards like this about 2/3 of the time, I think, in my estimation. So we're getting a pretty good price. Risking 150 to win 311. We're going to win this often enough that I think we're just going to be printing money. That's right. Print the money. This is a money printer, and this is money just coming off. That's right. Print the money. That's right. Run it up without hand motions. It wouldn't be running up at all. It's like when we were doing the Poker News podcast with no video for some of the video. Come on, or it's like not a good video. No, I need the video. Otherwise, it's just a poker video where everyone's like this, and it's like, yeah, so I've raised under the gun because my VPIP is really low and my PFR is, come on. Nobody likes that. That's no fun for anybody. King Queen suited. That is fun for everybody, though. Going to be probably defending here in the big blind. Against the limp, I am definitely raising it up because our hand is likely to be the best hand. I'd like to get some value. So, against two people here, I am still raising for value because A, we could still have the best hand. B, if this guy wants to get in with me, I don't give one hoot. Get your $18 in, run the cards dealer, don't care. King Queen suited is gonna do perfectly well against the hands he wants to get in with me. If he folds, great, don't care. I win the money. This happens, this is also great with me because now we're in position against the small blind with a hand that is probably not fantastic because he didn't re-raise the first time. So if he continues now, he might very well have us dead. He might have just like ace jack, something like that. But I think he'll fold here pretty often if he has hands like jack 10 suited, pocket sevens. We beat some hands he will fold here. But I don't want to check back because we make too many mistakes if we check back, right? So we check back and the turn is a 7 and he bets, any amount of money. Are we calling? Even if he has hands like jack 10 or king jack and decides to bluff, our hand really can't hold up to that. So I'd rather turn our hand into a bluff ourselves. I'd rather be the stick than the one being sticked. So, no, sure. Hit with a stick. I want to be the one doing the hitting. That sounds way more fun. So in this case, we could either check raise or we could bet out. I think I'm actually going to try check raising because all we did is limp pre-flop. He checked back, and I feel like if he had a decent hand, we would have heard about it pre-flop. Can actually bet over pot here. Going to bet $1 with more than the pot with the rake. If he has a heart, he's probably going to call. If he has anything else that's like super connected, he's probably going to call. But I anticipate that we're going to win that pot there without too much trouble most of the time. If he raises, I'm going to actually re-raise with this hand. This is a very good hand to re-raise with. Suited aces on the button. It's not a hand that I would always have 3-bet with in my history, as both run-it-up history or my own history. But I've been experimenting being aggressive in spots like this for the last few months as far as if he had opened, and I've really liked how that has the dynamic of all of that. So that is a thing that didn't happen this time, but I'm looking for spots like that going forward. I think I'm actually going to check back here. This feels like a spot to me where we are likely way ahead of our opponent, or we are way behind of our opponent. If our opponent has ace jack, ace 10, we're way behind. If our opponent has king 10, pocket sixes, something like that, we are way ahead. So I felt like checking back kind of is like a deceptive thing. Maybe we have queen jack. Maybe we have a hand like pocket queens. So something like that. At this point on the river, we could arguably consider raising. But if we raise, we have to ask ourselves, will he call with the next worst hand, which is ace queen? And I'm not sure that he will. So I don't think raising makes any sense. He doesn't fold ace 5. He doesn't call with ace queen. So I think we're just calling here. Okay. It's fine. We made the best. On the flop, he was drawing relatively thin, drawing to an 8 or a 7. We could have bet there and got one more street of value, but he wouldn't have folded, and we wouldn't have ended up winning the pot. Not that that's a thing we super worry about, but so we checked back flop, gave him the turn card where he turned to flush draw as well. He bet out, we called. And then on the river, he bet out again, but we made 2 pair, so it was kind of like the most unfortunate river card. I feel like if you turn the cards around and gave our opponent the exact same cards as us in that situation, he would have lost just as much as us. In fact, maybe even more if he bets flop, bets turn, and maybe then ends up having to call the river for a bigger price. So I think we actually made some theoretical money despite losing because other players would have lost more than us in that exact spot. And all things considered, I don't think there's much we could have done there with that hand. Nicki Minaj joins the table. Welcome, Nicki. Welcome, Nicki. Welcome to Run It Up. Yes. I'm not sure who I'm trying to impersonate with that voice, but yeah, it's something. All right, so going to be betting here $2. Could have the best hand with pocket fives. If our opponent continues, would have to have made some decisions because maybe we have the best hand, maybe we don't, but looks like. That's right. Looks like he just decides to say no thank you and makes it easy for us. Over to the fireman over there. Decides to raise it up to $1.50. Can't fold the queen 9 offsuit, getting 3.5 to 1. Let's see a flop. Dealer. Flopped ourselves that gut shot. I actually think that if this ATM checks, I will be planning on leading. Not something I always do, but I don't really want to check call, don't really want to check raise, and I think there's a chance this fireman guy might just fold. We have seen him fold when he's been placed with bets like this in the past. When we did the 4-bet with the king-queen, or the 3-bet with the king-queen, he folded a hand pretty quickly there, so I felt like there was a pretty good chance he was going to just fold off there. Now that we've turned to 9 here, we actually beat the most likely hand that he has, which is 10, most likely draw that he has, which is 10-9. We actually have that hand dominated at this point. If he has an 8, he may or may not call us twice. If he has a jack, we're in really bad shape. So I think all things considered, I like checking here. That's actually probably not the greatest card. Him checking to me makes me feel like we probably have the best hand, but I don't think he's going to be calling here very often. If he has a hand like with an 8 or 9, he's probably not calling. Like, what does he have? Ace 9, Ace 8. None of those hands are calling, in my opinion. Maybe like Queen 10 is even beating us. Queens and Jacks with a 10 kicker. So he don't think he was going to call with King 8. I will say that I didn't think we were beaten too often, though, because if he had us beat with a 10 in his hand or had a full house, I feel like we would have heard about it before the river. I think he would have either let out on the end, maybe check raised us earlier. This is check raised. That's right. Maybe he would have check raised. Okay, yeah, sure. He's like a little golem robot destroyer, like in Borderlands 2 with the big flying machines. That's right. Anyway, going to call a quarter here at the 10-3 suited. You know, the little spinning buzzers. All right, anyway. 10-3 suited here, completed in the small blind. Going to start off with a check. Don't think we'll be winning this hand. Going to just give it up. In for $80, so we're currently up $30. If you didn't see all of the stuff we talked about in Run It Up episode 1, season 2, you should definitely go back and talk about and go see that, because I don't really want to repeat myself as far as like what my plans are, things like that. But I am excited, that's for sure, for the upcoming season of Run It Up stuff. I'm going to make it 150 here. This is something that I've again been experimenting with. Raising the larger doesn't seem right to me because this guy's got $17. So making it like $4 just makes him just like probably shove or fold pre-flop, which is not really what I want. What I want to accomplish here is to shake out one or two guys, probably from the blinds most likely. We end up building a pot where we're in position with a hand that does okay. And yeah. I don't think this is like the best hand to play multi-way by any means, but certainly is okay. And I think more often we're going to end up being in a 3-way pot than a 4-way pot. 3-way or 2-way certainly than a 4-way. So now that he leads, given that he leads kind of on the small side, I think I'm going to start with a call. If either of these players show massive aggression, I'm going to just fold. Hopefully, that's probably like one of the nut turn cards for us that isn't a jack. If he bets out a ton, though, I'm still probably folding because our hand does not do well against flushes. Our hand is just stone drawing dead against flushes. Against Queen 10, it's also drawing dead already. We do have a player behind us left to act, so I'm still a little worried. But we're ahead of some hands, you know. We do beat some hands like 10-9. He did limp behind. If he had a really good hand, he'd probably raise over the limp the first time. So he could have us beat, but I'm not convinced of that just yet. If this player is something aggressive, though, again, like I said, I'm probably just going to just fold. And we could have arguably folded just to this straight out. Ace of clubs is a bad sign for us. So the question is this a card we're going to bluff? He checks very quickly. I think if he had the king or queen of clubs, he would have at least considered betting out himself. So we could have the best hand and just win if he checks, but I think I like betting here. So I think I like betting 23 to win 28. If he has a hand that isn't a flush, he's probably folding. If he has a hand like Jack 9, 9-6, 9-8, he says fuck and shit in chat. So I feel like... Nice. Fuck, shit, ugh, fold. Nice. Nice. Welcome to Run It Up, bro. Sorry to put you in the cage. Wow, he's really mad. I wonder if he had the best hand. So in this hand, I think I'm actually going to do a very similar play. I'm going to make it 120 here. Something not 150, but I'm hoping to buy the button. That would be awesome. So that's already great news for us. If hopefully nobody re-raises, because this hand obviously doesn't want to get re-raised too badly. But if somebody raised to an amount less than $4, I would still end up calling. This is a perfect result for us. What ended up happening was we bought the button, got heads up against the guy who might be steaming. Not heads up, sorry. We got three-handed with the guy who might be steaming and the big blind. So I feel really good about how this all has worked out. It only cost us $1.20 to do it. Pretty good flop for us, all things considered. Certainly worth starting with the bet. Going to protect our hand, you know. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense to check back with that hand because our opponents may put pressure on us, and our hand doesn't really want to take pressure. We can sustain pressure on 5s and 4s and hearts and 6s and deuces, right? Yeah. So our hand can sustain a lot of pressure on a variety of turn cards, but I think it's better just to bet, get him to fold all the like 7-9 suiteds of the world and things that are really only continuing if they improve. Here, I raised an early position, got called on the button and the blinds. Going to start with a check because I don't think we're going to be able to win this pot with pure moxie. Maybe if the turn card is a 3 or a deuce or a 4, or maybe even a 6 or a 7, I would have done something if it had checked through. But I think at this point, we just let Nicki Minaj win this pot. Maybe I should type shit, ugh, hork shit, fuck in chat first before I fold. That way they know how I feel. That way they really know I'm upset before I let the hand go. Gonna fold this one here under the gun. So I talked about it yesterday a little bit, but I'm really excited for the variety of content. You know, we're going to do some more training content. We're going to do a little bit more like, you know, for the guys who are looking to improve. We're going to do some more content like that. Going to do some PLO, but every time should be fun, though. That's the whole point, right? Come on. You know, it's run it up. You know, it's fun it up. Let's be real, right? Yeah. We'll have to see about that. In for 80 right now, so I'm up $47 already. We started the Run It Up Season 2 with $812, so I've already added $50 to that pile. That's great. I like these long sessions. I mean, I already have, now this is like the second one I've done, and I already feel good about this. I think this is going to be my standard, whether it's 2 episodes or 3 or 4 or 6, you know, however many episodes one session covers. I really like these longer sessions better, and I also like avoiding doing 4-hour videos because not many people can watch 4-hour videos, and if I shoot them like this, I feel like it's very easy for, like, you know, serving size. You know, they're like juice boxes for Run It Up. That's right. So in this end, this guy open limped, this guy 3x'd. I called here because I think we can call here profitably pre-flop with a hand this good, and then just gave it up because we flopped nothing. And he had top set, so I feel good about our decision. Ace king of hearts here in the small blind. I hope this player decides to get involved because he obviously is the one who's easiest to just shove. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a fun situation. So let's make it 650. I kind of like that. That's pot. All right, let's make a pot. I raise the pot, dealer. Redbird more. Redbird coming in there. It's like a phoenix. $5 phoenix just roaring in there. Yeah, there was no way in heck this guy was folding, right? All right, so not the greatest flop for us. Going to start with the check, though, because I don't want to bet because, again, what better hands is he folding? He's not folding any pair, no set, no flush draw. He's making no mistakes. If he had bet a lesser amount, I would have very likely called. But because he bets pot here, I actually think that he's created an unprofitable situation for us. If he had bet 6, 5, 8, I would have called, seen a turn card, went from there. When he bets pot with only like the same bet size behind, I just think we're going to be behind too often. You know, he has hands we beat, you know, like ace, queen of diamonds we beat. But a lot of the hands we beat have a lot of equity against us, and the hands that do beat us have us beat pretty badly, I think. So I'm going to just fold here. We lost 650 in the pre-flop raise, but I think we probably had the best hand pre, or obviously the pre-flop raise is fine. And post-flop, I think just check folding seems like the way to go. I think if we bet ourselves, we'd end up bet folding and maybe making mistakes there. So I thought check calling would have been the best play. When he bets pot, though, I think folding is fine. We just end up folding and losing the $6 or whatever it is. But ain't no thing. Money comes in and out of ATMs, I'll point out. It's not like giving money to Nicki Minaj or a fireman. Money doesn't come out of those places. ATMs, though, come on. They're kind of slutty when it comes to money going in and out. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. Run It Up Season 2. Now with extra sluttiness. That's right. I know what you guys are looking for out there. I didn't wear the V-neck. I didn't wear the Run It Up super slutty V-neck. But our friend sure did behind us there. Look at that chest. That's unreal. That is unreal sluttiness going on right there. Unreal sluttiness. But at least he's wearing a gas mask because, you know, safety first, kids. That's all I know. Looks like we're going to be under the gun here. Our friend over there looks like he's decided to take some time out. Okay, sure. Limped pot. What did we end up folding? 4-7 offseed. All right, let's think about this hand here. So the ATM decides to limp on our right over there. The fella with the ATM avatar. I don't know. Maybe he's an ATM. Maybe he's not. You know. Odeski. Quite a variety of names. There's the classic name _ number, 3 letters. There's, you know, the Russian sounding name. Just saying, it's diversity over here. Ultimate Poker, all about the diversity. Run It Up even more so. You know, way more so actually, I guess, you know. Community. This is a hug I'm doing. That's it. Or I'm making a hoop for you to use as a basketball hoop, one or the other. That's right. That's what you guys really want to see in these Run It Up episodes, isn't it? Yeah, I thought so. Did we skip the big blind somehow? Oh, yeah, I guess he sat out. Is that what happened? All right, looks like we get to save ourselves 50 cents. That's kind of cool. Nicki Minaj is really mad about that. That's no fair. I don't know what that really means. I'm going to call here in the small blind with Queen Deuce offsuit. Not the most profitable of ventures we're heading off on, but I believe we can do it profitably nonetheless. This seems like a pretty good flop for Queen High. Aces and Queen. 8 deuce kicker. Yes. It looks like players are sitting out against us, which is a thing that happens, I suppose. I'm going to just fold here. I actually think I should just min raise against the shorter stack in the big blind anyway, but, whatever. I think raising itself is fine. Oh, you're in danger. Probably not you're in danger, but I still feel like I'm in danger either way. So there's that. I mean, that's the best thing about playing on new sites. You get to have your pick of the names. People ask me all the time, like, are you Jay Carver on Peaches and Plums Poker? And I'm like, no. By the way, no. No, that's not me. So I'm only Jay Carver on a few sites. I mean, Ultimate, obviously, Full Tilt. I was Jay Carver. That was, my big one was full tilt. I'm going to raise it up here for a straight up value. King Queen's going to be the best hand here pretty often if he calls, whatever. Let's see a flop. If he gets it in, okay, whatever. Run the cards. If he folds, okay, whatever. Give me your dollar. I am completely ambivalent as to what this player decides to do. Okay. So I think the best thing to do here is to bet an amount and then not fold. I could bet small and then fold, but I think it's better just to bet like $6 and be like, okay, you want to continue? If he has an ace, and we're drawing very dead, but, it happens. That's just the price of doing business. Every once in a while, you're drawing to Jack 10, and it's just like, well, all right, if that's what I have to do. Back to the limping game in the small blind, hoping that he eventually will start attacking these, but, obviously not this particular instance was I hoping that to happen, but hoping eventually he starts attacking us so we can exploit that dynamic by limping with big hands. Knit Romney, nice name. Excellent name, actually. That's actually really good. Okay, sure. I have a very low bar for poker names, as you guys know. Poker name avatar combos, though, I have a high appreciation for. That's kind of close. That's, the elderly business gentleman, Knit Romney. Okay. I can see that as a thing. That seems to make sense to me. Oh, our short stack friend is all in. He has 3 of a kind. I like his chances. All right. Pay that man. That's right. Pay that man his money. That's right. I guess that's where I was headed with that one. All right. Sorry, Dilbert. Losing $6 to the fireman. All right. Hand seems like a perfectly reasonable hand to raise under the gun. There's probably a small likelihood that this player is less inclined to play with us than he would be otherwise because he just lost that pot, but I don't think that's an amazingly huge thing. Could check here, but I actually think betting is a little bit better. If he has hands like King Jack and Jack 10, I want those hands to just fold right now because once those hands turn pairs, they're not going to fold anyway. And I don't think he's going to bluff too often if he has like 6-7 offsuit, or 6-7 suited, I guess is more realistic. If we check to that hand's probably not bluffing. And if it is, maybe it bluffs one time. I think it's a little bit better to protect our hand. We're also betting with all of our big hands, which I think is an important part of this. In this hand, we could raise and just play it like super aggressively, try to get it in pre, our hand is pretty good and we're 5-handed. Pocket 8s is really strong, but I think I'm going to treat it more like it's pocket 5s, pocket 6s, and just call and kind of like set mine. Instead, we've 3 straight mined successfully. That's a thing, I guess. Checks through. Interesting. So I think if either of these players have hands better than a 9, so if it has pocket 10s or better, they're not going to fold to a lead here. So I don't think leading necessarily accomplishes very much. If we have the best hand, there's some chance it checks through. I feel like it's still possible that we do have the best hand here. If we bet what we get called with by worse, I don't think so. And if will they get better to fold or worse to call? No, I don't think so. Now this is sad, and this is one reason why I was thinking about betting like $1.25 because you avoid this happening. If this guy just calls with a 9, it's like okay, whatever. And we avoid making mistakes sometimes when he just bets like this. But I think we can safely fold here. I'm a suspicious individual as far as not like police radio suspicious, but I'm an individual with a lot of suspicion in me, like at least 2/3 suspicion, a quarter disappointment, and then the rest of the part can be like degenerate. That's my molecular composition. And so I think we may have made a mistake folding there, but it seems like it probably wasn't. Despite my suspicions, I feel like it probably is fine. Not going to play this hand here. Probably going to just fold. Even if it went limp to us, I don't think we're going to show much of a profit here against this particular lineup. If we had 5-8 suited, maybe. But again, the difference is not really that large. I think that hand is probably a similar fold as well. Now, if you're a new player, and I get this pretty often, if you're a new player and you're like, holy heck, J Carves, there's no way I can play as many hands as you. Well, that's probably correct, actually. I play a lot of hands because I feel like I can make better decisions than my opponents can in pretty much every arena. Pre-flop, post-flop, on the river, in the heat, in the cold. I feel pretty strongly that I can out-decide my opponents. And if you're a new player, that's just not the case, right? So if you're a new player, I'd really recommend playing a tighter strategy. You want to play about 20% of your hands, 25% of your hands, if you're playing six-handed particularly. You want to play less than I do, but the best way that you can improve your poker game is to pause these videos while they're going on and say, what would I do in this spot? What would I do? Before I say anything, what would I do in this spot? And then see how your thought process compares to mine, because the best thing you can do is to try to improve your thought process, is to put it through the tumbler of improvement. It's like you go and find the raw learnings, and then you put it in the mineral tumbler, and next thing you know, diamonds come out. That's right. You can just go to Jared's and buy your significant other a beautiful piece of jewelry, all thanks to the mental tumbler, right? Heck yeah. That all makes sense. You can get yourself your own pot of gold, or a treasure chest full of gold, so to speak. So I think that's the most important way. If you're watching these run-up episodes with the goal of like, I want to get better in my home game, I want to improve my poker thought process, I want to just get a better thought process for poker or game playing or tournaments or whatever it is. Even if you're not a tournament player but you're watching these videos, no limit hold'em is no limit hold'em. Poker is poker. You can still derive many lessons and things off of content that isn't necessarily specifically for something that you're doing. If you're a sit and go player or whatever it is, many times things will still apply that are just correct. I'm actually going to check call here. King high is probably a favorite to be the best hand. We have 2 overcards just in case. Didn't want to bet out and get raised and have to make a decision. I thought checking would probably be the best play. I actually think maybe I should bet pot instead of 50 cents here, but it might be irrelevant. So heart is kind of scary to me because once he calls on turn, he probably has something, right? So if he has something, hearts are kind of scary for me. We have a 7 blocker, so nice. So we have the best hand value. That's right. Pay me that 50 cents tax on the turn, bitch. It's the seeing a flop blind versus blind with Jay Carver tax. That's right. I collect from the small blind. That's what a bitch I am. That's right. That's right. I'm very tax heavy. There's no representation either. All taxation. That's right. Throwback. Too soon? I know there's a lot of British fans. Maybe it's too soon for the American Revolution jokes. I don't know. I am planning on going to Europe later this year. I have plans to go right now to Dublin, actually, in September. I haven't made any, I'm not 100% sure as to whether or not yet I can do, I'm probably going to raise this. I'm not sure yet as to whether or not I'm going to do events yet while I'm in Europe because, it's one thing to go to Europe and another thing to go to Europe and then try to put together events and then, bring things and ship things. And I'm not quite sure yet what my plans are as of the time I'm recording this video, but we'll talk more as time goes on. Definitely, if you guys are in Dublin, I'll be happy to do some. There'll be some kind of meetup in at least Dublin if that's the only place that my Euro trip consists of. And we'll have to just see, I guess, from there. So I could peel here. I have backdoor straight draw, backdoor nut flush draw, and some overcards, a overcard as well. So I could continue here getting a 6-1, but I think I'm going to just fold. I think that's a little bit tenuous, even for me. We could arguably have check raised as well and potentially bluffed on hearts. That might have been a thing that could work. But I took the nitty route and just said, no thanks. No thanks, friends. Fold it. That's right. The deep fold. The deepest fold. So as these run-up episodes continue, I'm going to try to find these learning moments, and we'll try to talk about them, see about how they work, and how you guys can apply them in your own game, things like that. I feel like we had talked a lot about in the last set of run-up episodes, in the last season of run-up episodes, we talked a lot about how I was kind of retired almost from poker to some degree. And I mean, I was retired because I wasn't playing high stakes. I wasn't playing tournament circuit. So I was really out of the like tournament grind and the cash game grind. But in the last few months, I've really been immersed in it. So I feel like my poker game has never been as strong as it is, or probably not been much stronger than it is right now, especially when it comes to PLO, especially when it comes to tournaments. I think my tournament game is pretty strong these days. So I'm looking forward to sharing all of those insights with you guys. That's right. This is these are all the insights running running away. Jay Carver, your insights look like spiders. Yeah, that's the form of insights. Obviously, they build webs. That's right. We also, I don't know if you guys. Oh yeah, that's right. At some point, I invested in this. For the visual of the adding the thought process to the So now we have a real cauldron to work with, so that's cool. The things that I've got to spend money on with Run It Up in the last year are quite some things. That's for sure. So we have a backdoor flush draw, a backdoor straight draw, okay, I guess that's really about it. We have a third pair draw, getting 6-1. No, I think we just fold. They're just, even the good cards for us aren't really great. The best card is the 4 of spades. Everything else is really less than good. Like this card, for instance, we turn a gut shot, but it's like, big whoop, frankly. So I think it's fine just to fold in this spot here. But I don't want to fold, and I think that's something else you guys can look for. A lot of people are like trying to find reasons to play or to fold or whatever. You should always be finding reasons to play. Find reasons to get in there, especially if you're trying to learn and improve. It does not help you to be a nit and not play hands. It helps you to learn and get in there and get in the streets. And that's right. This is the street fighting, knife fighting. That's right. Who's scared now? That's right. I've got a lot of Filipino friends, okay? That's right. That's what we do. Anyway, so not Greytorp, though. Greytorp is Malaysian. Don't get that wrong. He'll be really upset with you. But what were we talking about? Knife fighting and I don't know. Anyway, good to be back. Knife fighting in the streets, Oh, yeah, that's right. Don't be nits. Don't be nits. You gotta, it helps so much that if the money impacts you, then yeah, you definitely, want to play a style you're comfortable in. But it's great to go play like the smallest stakes that you feel comfortable playing. Like for me, that's, like 5-10, no limit. For you, maybe it's like 1-2, or on mine, maybe you have to play like 1 cent, 2 cent, or 2 cent, 5 cent. And then just mix it up and play a bunch of hands and always kind of think like, what does my opponent have? What does it look like I have? How can I win this pot? How can I have one more in this hand? How could I have one less? How could I have lost less than this hand? Would other players have played this hand differently than me? And always ask yourself those questions. And I think that's how you get yourself to poker success, generally speaking. Obviously, there's more ingredients than just that in the old cauldron, but got to start somewhere. If it checks to us, I would have bet. Against a 50-cent wager, maybe we should attack this here because a queen is probably good and 9 might be good, and it's not too likely that any of these guys have 5s. Maybe they have jacks, but if this guy just has like jack 4 suited, it's not really a super easy call. We can also turn 10s as well as 9s in our queens. So actually, kind of interesting that we were right that he didn't have very much, but this guy ended up calling me. So when he calls me and then bets out like this, he could definitely have something that's not a 5 or a jack, but by far the most likely hands that this guy has. Did you like that? By far, very far, the most likely hands the guy has are 5s or jacks. So I'm outie. If you bluffed us, congratulations to you. But I ain't worried about that. Oh wow, 33 minutes, way over time. All right, we'll play the rest of these 2 hands out, and I'm gonna wrap this session up. I think this table doesn't seem particularly great to me, so gonna quit after these 2 hands. So let's get ready to go. 2 big hands left, and then we'll wrap it up. Call it a first session, second episode wrap up. It's been fun. We were in for $80. We've run it up 35-45 profit, so made some money here. Nice start to season 2. We'll see if we can keep that up in the next few episodes. Episodes consistently coming your way. If you've been enjoying these episodes, don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Jason Somerville. All Run It Up stuff are coming to you from runitup.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/JakartaPoker. I don't have too many friend slots left on Facebook, so just saying, they're going like hotcakes, and then I'll be sold out. You'll have to follow me, and no one wants to follow on Facebook, so hop over to Facebook, add me as a friend. I'm adding basically everybody until it hits 5,000, and then it's sold out, capped out. I'm really close, so if you want to be one of my elusive last Facebook friends, now's the time. Facebook.com/ChikaraPoker. New episodes coming all the time. I actually think we're going to do a full screen wrap up today. So we're going to play these last two hands, full screen wrap up, check the balance, hopefully be happy, ring the bell, call it a day. You know, that's the plan. Let's see how this hand goes first, I guess. We're witnessing a check raise by our leprechaun brother over there, and then the fireman just doesn't know what to do. He's just all in a twist. Oh, I'm all in. Oh, he has queen high. Okay, two pair takes it down. And quite possibly he won't post the big blind, and our hand end of the session is over. The day is done. All right. Yes, it is. All right. So we started today with $812.45, and we ended the day with, looks like 812.45 plus 35 and 45. So we ended the day with $847.90. Ballin'. All right, let's do a full screen wrap up. Okay, there we go. Full screen wrap up. Look how nice that looks. Look how nice that looks. You got a beautiful balance board over there. You know, it's just chilling, doing its thing. We got a fireplace. Look at that. Come on, tell me that's not great. Look, runup.com. We got a drill, a little amazing statue. I gotta add maybe more to that. I'm not sure. It's been both ways. So yeah, here we are. Run It Up Season 2. We're underway. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. We ran it up today, $35 more. We'll be back here tomorrow with something new and different and exciting. How exciting is that? Back once more into the Marshmallow Pits. Thanks so much for watching as always, guys. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Jason Somerville. If you're kind of in doubt, I'll point out that I drew that bird. Yes, I drew the Twitter bird. So if that doesn't deserve your follow, I don't think anything does. Thanks so much for watching as always, guys. I will see you more back. I will see you back more for soon. Sure, run it. Yes, peace. Go.
The marshmallow pits. I'm in the marshmallow. I'm in the marshmallow.
Okay.
Marshmallow pits.
All in under the gun in the dark, cause I never fucking lose when I wear my magic scarf. With 3-5 of spades just to be like Jay Carves, or I'll play you post flop without seeing my cards.